How's it going, everybody? My name is Fernando, the Lonestar Halo, joined here by Breezy. We are going to talk about Angels baseball. We're going to talk about her journey to be an Angels fan and much more right after this.
One, two, three, go! From Texas to Anaheim, we're bringing the heat. Todd and Fernando got the news every week. Walk-offs, strikeouts, who's making a name? Who's in the clutch and who's taking the blame? Lonestar Halo, fucking baseball, here we go. Big hits, bad goals, who's gonna rise and who's gonna fall?
Yes, this is the Lonestar Halo show. Breezy, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for taking the time to talk Angels baseball. How are you?
I am doing so great. We just swept the Dodgers, so I'm on a high right now, but hopefully that doesn't fall with this game against the A's. And thank you so much for asking me, and what an intro that was. That's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. So
We have a very
Good for you
talented
guys.
producer, so we will give him his props.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
fun.
I think it feeds his ego a little bit, but in a good way, right? I mean, we all want to be rewarded for the work we do. So, I mean, hey,
Dude, if you're going to do something, you got to go all out. Don't
Absolutely.
half-ass anything. I love it. That's beautiful.
so I'm sure he'll appreciate his flowers. So let's start from the beginning of what made you an Angels fan in the first place. I mean, that's the natural question people want to know when, having a new guest on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Palm Desert, California, which is like a short hour-and-a-half drive from the Angels. My dad is from Detroit, and he was a Tigers fan. He's always been into baseball. But then once he moved out to California, he got into Angels baseball, and that was like when we were really good. And I've played softball my entire life. I started playing softball at like 3 or 4. I have 3 brothers, so it was like my dad just kind of expected me to like jump in and be one of the boys and like play baseball. And I'm so grateful for that. But I was actually at Game 7 as a kid and watched the Angels win the World Series. And I don't like really remember it. I was still pretty young, but I have so many pictures from that game, and I look back at it and it like sparks little memories here and there. But I think from that moment on, it was just like the excitement. I remember the like sticks that we had, and the
Thunder sticks.
Yes, and like the whole stadium just going crazy. And it wasn't like, oh my God, Angels baseball my entire life by any means. But it was like this place that I got to go with my family, and it was this thing that like my family and I did together where we just got to be and enjoy something that we loved, because like I said, like we all played baseball. And it really taught me a lot as a kid too. Like I was a pitcher, and I just I felt like I like knew so much more than my teammates because I grew up in the environment of actually watching baseball and learning how to play. And so that's how I became an Angels fan. And I didn't really get into it until I got sober almost 10 years ago. And I got sober at 24 years old. And it was like the first thing that I did that made me feel normal and like I could still have fun. And because I was, I got sober very young. And so it was like this thing that just showed me that I could still be a part of something. And I became like addicted. Like the second I got there, it was like, oh my God, this is something that I loved before I found alcohol. And it just kind of brought me back to life. And so it's been this like really beautiful thing that, I get to also like bring other sober people into, and, they're like, oh, I don't think I'd like it. And like just watching them feel that same, like a part of, and like, oh, I can actually have fun and just be myself. And it's such a beautiful sport. And those people that say baseball is boring, like I could never relate. So yeah.
You're boring if you don't like baseball.
Yes. Literally, I look at them and I'm like, what's wrong with you? I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah, I get it. Like it's not for everybody, but there's beauty in the piece of it, right? So for me, and I think most people who like sports will go to a place like that, right? You think about those beautiful memories, like, going with your family, whether that's, an uncle, a brother, a cousin, whatever, you think about that. I tell my girlfriend all the time, like, I remember growing up on Sundays. Coincidentally, my mom was always too sick to go to church. Just wanted to sleep. No shade of mom.
Yeah.
But my dad would drag me out of bed, like, hey, we're going to go to church. And, being 10 or 11, you're like, all right, whatever. But then afterward, like, hey, we're going to go to the Padres game afterward. I grew up in San Diego. So I was like, okay, great. That was the way to get me to go, right? It was Sunday. It was kids' day. The kids get the giveaways. So like, I remember having those fond memories, or the days where all of us would go to the game together, or the few times I was actually able to drag my dad up to Anaheim. But it's just a lifetime of beautiful memories for me, and so many of us that are going to be watching this podcast, right? You don't watch a baseball podcast if you don't love baseball.
Yeah.
But, and that's awesome that you and so many of others have used it for a tool for sobriety or other things, right? I mean, it's not just sobriety. There's multiple dark places that people can be in. And when you can find something like sports to be part of a community and something bigger than yourself, because that's what it is, right? That's what a fandom is. It's that community. It's that sense of belonging. It's, you don't know the person to your left, but when Ohapi hits a home run, you're high-fiving that person like they're your best friend. So that's the beauty of baseball, for sure.
Absolutely. And my dad has had season tickets probably my whole life too. And that's something as well. Like I get a lot of hate on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, of like, people just like, oh, you're feeding Artie's pocket. And I'm like, okay, but like what you don't understand is that all of the employees at the stadium have become a part of my family. It's not just a community to me anymore. Like this place is my second home. And like when I walk in, I'm literally like giving hugs to like 20 different staff members, and we all say, I love you. And it's so good to see you. And, stuff like that. Like there's just so much more to baseball. And unless you like have that experience, you don't necessarily get it. And I understand, the hate that I get, but it's so much bigger than just, oh, I'm going to watch a baseball game. It's like, it's everything. It is the community. It's the being a part of, it's the family, it's all of it. And it's beautiful. It's literally one of the best parts of my life. And it's also given me so many new friends and experiences that I would never have otherwise, and reasons to go to places I would never go to. And like immediately feeling a part of, and like you said, like, I don't know the person to my left, but like we can sit and we can have a full conversation the entire game about this sport that we both absolutely love. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
It's just, if it wasn't for the community aspect of this, I don't think I would love the game nearly as much.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and living in Texas now, like that's what I miss and I crave the most. I miss those interactions. I miss going to the ballpark. I got to go. I got to go this year again about 2-3 weeks ago, and it was just great to be back out there. I mean, baseball is one of the only sports, in my opinion, that just has a special feel when you go to like a baseball stadium. I love hockey, but when you go to a hockey arena, there's nothing special about it. It's a cold dome, and I love the game happening on the ice. But there's something magical about going to a baseball stadium because they're all so different. They're all so quirky. They all have just an element of beauty that no other sport's able to replicate. Have you gone to do? I know we're going to talk a little bit about you going to Rocket City with Swilly a little later, but have you gone to do a lot of traveling to other baseball stadiums? And if you have, what do you like about some other ballparks? I know you went to San Diego. I know you went to LA. You were there for the only win we got against the Padres, and you were there to kickstart the sweep in LA.
Yes. Other stadiums. So I have been to, like I said, my dad was raised in Detroit. So I've been to the Tiger Stadium, which is absolutely incredible. I got to go for my birthday, I want to say like 4 years ago. And they have like a full-on carousel inside the state. Like, it's so cool.
They have a Ferris wheel and all that. I've seen that.
Like to me, I love going to different stadiums and being able to just like, I can't help it. Like, I want to compare everything to Angel Stadium. And like, it makes me so infuriated when I go and it's like this completely different experience. And the fans just seem so much more engaged. And I'm like, why is it not like this at Angel Stadium? And I get it. We've been in such a long drought and people are over it and whatever, but like, they're still doing all of these things to like make the experience better. So I've been there. What other stadiums have I been to? Swilly and I went up to San Francisco last year, see the Giants play the Angels. Like,
beautiful ballpark.
Oh my God, stunning. Top two for sure for me. That in San Diego. I went to the Cubs Stadium last year to see the Angels play the Cubs. I know I've been to more, but I, for whatever reason, can't think of them. But yeah, and then I went to San Diego last week and then the Dodger Stadium. And then I'm flying out next month. Swilly and I will be going to Fenway Park for the first time.
Jealous.
Yes, we're not even there to see the Angels. We're going and we're watching the Red Sox play the Yankees, which is like, as baseball fans, like, you can't ask for a better matchup and a better experience. And I watched the Red Sox documentary and now I've become like a huge fan, and not like anywhere close to the Angels, but I can't wait to go and experience that and the magic of Fenway Park. I have been to the Phillies Stadium as well. That was a long time ago, back in the day before I got sober. And then we will be going to the Yankees versus Angels right after that. So
okay.
Yeah.
I have not gone to Fenway yet. That's on the list. I've been to 19 of the stadiums, so I'm getting close.
Whoa.
I'm getting very close. Gonna be in Seattle next month.
I live in that stadium as well. I forgot.
You have been.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I went 2 years ago. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I'll say this. I mean, Angel Stadium will always be home. I need to preface it with that. Trust me. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Angels fans.
Yep.
It'll always be home. But the more I go to other ballparks, the more I realize Angel Stadium is really behind in a lot of aspects. The in-game, videos packages are a little more boring, dare I say. And, I like the hype videos. Those are always cool. But, like in between innings, like they just started doing the Pac-Man races. Obviously everyone has a hat shuffle. There's always a kid stealing third. Like that stuff's fine. But it's like all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you go to San Diego, there's always something fun happening between innings. And I'd love to get to that point. And I would love for them to bring back the family sections they used to have. Like when we were kids, they used to have the little area in center field where they had all the various games and stuff for kids. Where's all that?
Yeah. They did implement a new arcade, but it's like so hidden and like dark and weird. I feel like they tried, but it looks like they literally just like were like, here, just put something there so people shut up. Like it wasn't well thought out. And I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel about Artie. Like nothing's ever very well thought out. It's just like a band-aid to fix the problem rather than like really wanting to expand and make things better. But
Yeah, and I mean, something tells me that Bandai Namco probably paid for that whole section. So with that being said, it was kind of like, well, it's a free quote unquote family section, so why not?
right.
Yeah, I had Angel season tickets for 5 years before I moved to Texas, and there was like section 238, so pretty darn close to that Bandai Namco section. But now that I've gotten to see some of the other ballparks, I just realized like Angel Stadium's got to get to that caliber. I mean, I've never been in the women's restrooms, but I've heard a lot of the stalls are falling apart. I mean, I know for some of the men's bathrooms, there's the doors that don't close all the way. The doors are rusted. I'm just like,
I did hear that like a lot of the suites upstairs too have water damage.
Yeah, we got tagged, I think last year, that there was a chunk of concrete that fell. Someone took a photo of it, tagged us on Twitter, and then tagged us later that night, and they put it in their fish tank.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just like, Angel Stadium's getting up there, guys. We should probably upkeep it. I mean, even the city of Anaheim's gone out publicly, and they're like, hey, the Angels won't let us even inspect this place.
No way. I did not know that.
You didn't hear? It was a tweet that the mayor of Anaheim, it was a letter that was tweeted out, and the Angels were tagged, and the Angels responded with just like a generic, like literal text, because it was like the white iPhone bubble, I guess gray iPhone bubble, and it was just like, hey, we look forward to the future of Angels baseball in Anaheim.
Whoa, that's crazy. I also forgot I was as a season ticket holder. It's 2-2, by the way. Sorry. As a season ticket holder, the Angels, to like, I don't know, say a thank you to season ticket holders that like spend a certain amount of money on tickets every year. Oh my gosh. Taylor Wood just hit a home run. I'm so sorry. Yay! It's 4-2 now. Okay, so
he's been hot lately.
Yes, finally. He was so bad for so long. So as a thank you, they decided that every season now they're gonna start like taking 10 of their like clients on away games. And so at the end of the third season last year, or 3 seasons ago, they took me and 4 other like families to Colorado. So we got to go to the Colorado Rockies series, which is where we broke the record for the most runs in a game for the Angels. I think it was like 25-3 or something. I got to be at that game, which was like the coolest thing ever. So
another beautiful ballpark.
Oh my God. And that we were winning 25-3 and the whole stadium was still packed. Like if that were Angel Stadium, there would be like 10 fans left. You know what I mean? Like everyone was just still like so nice, having a great time, would rather be nowhere else than at the Rockies Stadium, even though they were losing that bad. So it just goes to show like when people really want to be there to support their team and like they're having a good experience. And people are not having a good time at Angel Stadium.
Yeah, there's definitely a different vibe about it. When I went to Coors Field, it was definitely cheery. And I think that game they actually won. It rained. When we were there, it was, I think, about an hour, maybe hour and a half rain delay. And everyone stuck around. I was surprised. I was like, man, people are still here. It's crazy. Everyone heard, we were sitting up in the nosebleeds, and we did that on purpose because I told my dad, hey, if we're going, I want to sit in that purple row, to commemorate being a mile above sea level, because where else in the world can you watch a baseball at a mile high? I mean, I can sit behind home plate anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't sit a mile high anywhere else.
Amen. So, that's super cool. I love that.
So, we went to purposely sit in that row. And it was funny during that rain delay, everyone went up to the top of the nosebleeds with the covering or the awnings, and everyone just huddled together. They're like penguins. And, once again, I mean, sports being sports, you know what I mean?
Yeah, beautiful moment that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
What's your
Exactly.
favorite stadium that you've been to since you've been to 19 of them?
You're putting me on
Hard
the
to-
spot. Let me put on my list. I'm not going to go through all 19. I just need to go through like the top 3. I know number 3. I definitely have Wrigley. Oh, so number 1, I put Camden. Number 2, I put PNC, and number 3. Actually, I put Coors Field number 3. I thought Wrigley was number 3.
Mm,
So yeah, so Coors Field, PNC, Camden Yards.
okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
love all those ballparks. You and Swilly definitely have to go to Baltimore. Obviously, a lot closer for her.
So funny thing is, we were going to because the Angels are playing Baltimore right before the Yankees, and so I was gonna fly into Baltimore rather than flying into Boston. But we both were just like, we could go to Baltimore anytime. Like this is the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Like we have to do that. So, but I've heard from so many people that stadium is just a 10 out of 10. So we're gonna make our way back there eventually, but it probably just won't be when the Angels are in town. We're just fine.
Yeah. Great food, definitely over there. And I certainly won't disclose where Swilly lives for her for her privacy. But we've chatted a little bit. I gave her some food recommendations. I used to work in New Jersey. I went there once a month for 3 years, so I know that area more than I care to admit. And the beauty of that area is just simply like how close you are to everything. I mean, she's like 5 miles away from the Bronx, Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Not that far from Citi Field. Everything's right there. I mean, within I think a 6-hour drive, you can get to like 5 or 6 ballparks.
Yeah.
So definitely really cool because, here in California, everything's so spread out.
We've got 3.
Yeah. But I mean, everything's so spread out, right? I mean, you got the 3 right there within like 90-ish miles. But you have to make the drive to Oakland when they were still here, and then San Francisco. On the East Coast, they're a lot more compact.
Yeah, true. Very true. Hopefully we get one in Vegas. That's only 4 hours away.
Yeah, I would definitely be excited for that. No offense to Oakland, but I mean, the Coliseum wasn't the best. Did you ever get to go there?
No, I'm so sad. I really wanted to go like last year before it was done, but
it wasn't in the cards. So you've already kind of described it a little bit. You explained the beautiful memories with your family and the fact that the Angels were almost a positive crutch to post sobriety. Yeah. But what do the Angels as a whole mean to you? If one day the Angels just didn't exist anymore?
Oh my gosh, don't make me cry. Wow. It is a reprieve from life to me. That's what the Angels are. I get to go sit for 3, hopefully 4 hours if it's a good night. And I just get to turn my brain off and scream and yell and act like a kid. And, they're everything, I just absolutely I love baseball, but like having a team that you can root for and be able to go through the highs and lows, like it's so symbolic of life. And being able to like be inspired by these people who like get injured and have to work so hard to get back up and do everything all over again, in spite of the fact that they're getting death threats or people screaming insane things at them, like the fact that they're just constantly overcoming diversity and just sitting there and watching it. And for me, like that inspired me too in my first year of sobriety, just watching these people. It was something that I hadn't really experienced before, like really soaking it in and seeing people grow right in front of you and being able to watch it, so it's I love it. I couldn't, if they weren't around, I don't know what I would do. Like I think about Swilly moving to New York and like right before she moved, we were like, I mean, I was crying. I don't know if she was crying, but I was crying for her because I was just like, I can't imagine not being able to go and watch an Angels baseball game. And like when the season is over, I feel like I'm constantly just like, what do I do with my life right now? You know, like I'm
When's the
counting
next
down
game? You know,
Yes, I'm counting down the minutes until the season is back. And the second that, you know, spring training starts, I'm like, I can't wait to get to Arizona. Thank God Arizona is close too. It's only a 4-hour drive. So it's like, you know, I'm so lucky to live where I live and be able to, you know, be able to travel and go watch it and just have something in life to root for and feel like in a little small way you're making a difference. You know, I don't know if they notice that we're there or that we're screaming or whatever. But like I like to think that I do, that it makes a difference and that's cool, you know, to especially when they win. It's like, oh my God, it's because I said that one thing and I pumped them up or whatever, you know, the delusion in your head. But yeah, it's awesome.
well, in all fairness, you have a very popular Angels Twitter account, so it's definitely not far fetched. You know, the players see your tweets. I mean, I've made friends through the years, and that's one of the beauties of being fortunate enough to have a platform. You know, the friends we've made in terms of the community, obviously inside the podcast, and then the friends we've made on the field. We have a lot of friends in the organization. You know, a lot of players. You know, I never thought in a million years some of these guys I've been friends with. I mean, I can call Scott Spezio right now on my phone, and there's like a 90% chance he's going to answer.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many things that, like, when I was a kid, I didn't think I was going to have access to these people who, in my world, are just larger than life. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like you said, I mean, you almost kind of like idolize these guys, like in a productive way, in a healthy way, right? You look at these guys because, you know, after a long day at work, you know, you get beat up by you know, a hard week at work.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you get in a little tiff with your friends, significant other, whatever, and you just want to turn the game off for an hour or two and just turn your brain off.
Yeah.
You know, it's an escape for people. And to what you had said, two things. Number one, I know what it's like for Swooly to not be able to go to an Angels game. It's tough, you know. Luckily, she still has baseball nearby, so you know I know she's a big baseball person.
Yeah.
So you know, I have the Texas Rangers. Yippee? Question mark. Sometimes I'll just go to a game.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go to a game every
Good.
so often.
Yeah.
You know, because baseball's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gotten any Texas Rangers stuff. I've gotten like the free giveaways, but like I've never bought anything Texas Rangers. We'll see if maybe over time I slowly get something.
You want to buy the Tata's hat?
Yeah, I do want to buy a Teta's hat just for the memes.
Yeah.
I thought about buying like an old school like player, maybe like an Alfonso Soriano Rangers jersey. That way, it's like that's an old school guy. I'm not cheering for the new team.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up was I know what it's like for your team to disappear. I'm an Arizona Coyotes fan. Obviously, they no longer exist.
Whoa.
So I know what it's like to have a team like ripped away from you. And I mean, it really is devastating.
Yeah.
You know, sports is bigger than life. It's, you know, people just think like I had a lot of people tell me like, oh, well, just find a new hockey team. It's like, well, it's not like that. I mean, I moved to Texas with my ex-wife. I went through a divorce. I didn't have friends in Texas. I didn't have family here. There was a lot of nights literally by myself, no one to go to. It was isolating.
Yeah.
But that was my escape.
Watching
the game, you know, vibing with that, finding like podcasts in that community.
Yeah.
You know, you ingrain these teams to be part of your life, part of your personality. So when they don't exist anymore, there's just a fraction of your life that just doesn't exist anymore. And you just have to pretend that it's okay. So, you know, I hope that we as Angels fans never have to experience that because it's the worst. Literally, if the Angels stopped existing, I think I might just die. I'm not kidding. Like, I think I would just pass out. I wouldn't have that anymore. I wouldn't have like this community, and that's just crazy to think that. Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll knock on wood.
Carlton Simmons.
Yeah, autographed jersey.
Oh my God, I love him. He was my favorite.
Well, good. That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. He is my favorite Angel of all time. So who's your favorite Angel of all time, and who's your favorite current Angel?
Honestly, like Andrelton Simmons is like right up there. I met him and I met his wife. I got to go to one of their events, and just an incredible, both of them, like Gabriella, like they both were just so incredibly nice and amazing. And then just watching him play every day, like he was insane. He was so much fun to watch. And like, you know, all the old school players, obviously, like I just don't really remember them as much. Cole Calhoun is definitely up there for me. Like
he's right there too.
Yeah, like that was like one of my, watching him like Superman into the stands to get a freaking base. I mean, it was just, he was insane. Both of them, like the heart that both of them played with, I just haven't seen, you know, like since. Yeah, those two were for sure my faves. Who's my favorite on the team now?
Yeah, now.
Oh. That's so hard to say. I don't even know.
Okay, give me like maybe your 3 favorite guys. It's probably easier, maybe.
Well, I just don't like, I love this team, but I don't feel the like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that same like passion for the game that Cole and Andrelton had, you know?
I think Neto's got it. Because Neto's my current favorite player. I mean, you know, he's a gritty guy. Oh, you know, jersey's always dirty at the end of the game.
That's very true. That's very true. He busts his ass every night on that field. I love Rengifo. Rengifo's always a vibe. He's always dancing, and he seems like a fun teammate.
Very scrappy.
Yeah, very scrappy player. And I mean, obviously, I will always love Mike Trout. Like, I've met a lot of the players too. Like, they do a lot of things for season ticket holders, and so I've probably met like almost all of the team. And like, I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously I know what it is, but like the second Mike Trout even comes close, I'm like shaking. Like anyone else, I'm like, you're just a human. It is what it is. Like, it's cool, but like, you're a human. To me, Mike Trout is like a god, like walking in my direct. And I'm like, I have to run away. So Mike Trout for sure. He is and always will be my favorite Angel of all time. But yeah, I mean, Neto, Rengifo, Hoppy, like they're all great. You know, they're fun to watch every night. Otherwise, I wouldn't be going. I think Lugo has been really cool to watch within the past week. Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Definitely about Mike Trout. I've been fortunate enough to meet him. I was not as speechless as I thought. So far, the only guy who ever get me to be speechless was Tim Tebow. He just has like an aura about him.
Yeah.
He's so big. You're just like, how are you a human?
Yeah.
He's like built like a middle linebacker. I mean, so is Trout. But,
yes. Yeah. I got to meet Weaver when I was out in at the Cubs game too.
That's awesome.
He was sitting like in the same section as me, but just like a few seats over. And I went up to him afterwards and I got to meet him. He was super nice. And then I saw him again this season. And he was like, yeah, hey, I remember you. I follow you on Twitter. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't even understand what's happening right now. So
yeah, isn't social media so wild?
Yes.
How it works.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's also kind of, you know, when you kind of think about it, I won't put words in your mouth, but I know for me, it's also kind of creepy sometimes. Just because, you know, you're having a conversation and it feels like an A to B conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I had people coming up to me at a game, 2 years ago, and they were like, hey, how are you doing? You know, how's your divorce? You know, how's that going? And, you know, you think about it because it's like I'm having a conversation with Todd and when Courtney was still on the network, we're talking to three of us, and you don't remember that there's hundreds of thousands of people listening.
Yeah.
So and same thing with like Twitter, you know what I mean? You make a tweet or whatever, maybe because you're upset about a specific player or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you look at the engagements or whatever on the bottom or the views, and it's been viewed by like 14,000 people. You're like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah. Whoops. I didn't mean that. Yeah. Creepy's a good word for it. Obviously I have season tickets, so I sit in the same seat every game. And I think people have like kind of figured out where I sit. And so now I get like messages of like people zooming in on where I'm sitting, and I'm like, oh, hey, thank you. Like that's a little weird to get used to for sure.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
As long as there's no bad interactions, then that's all that matters. And so, you know what I mean? If it's you at a grocery store and people are zooming in, it's a little weirder. But I mean, if it's a predetermined spot where people know you're going to be and you've been at your whole life, essentially.
Totally. Yeah.
Has your family did your dad start like a completely different seat and through time have upgraded? Because you guys are, pretty close.
Yeah.
Or have those always been the seats?
No. So I think he started in like a suite. That's where we were when we watched Game 7. We were in a suite. And then probably like 20 years ago, I want to say, he was still in the Diamond Club. He was like, I think in section 117 or something like that. So it was like much closer to home plate. And he was in, I think, third in the fourth row. He had like two seats. And so we were there for a long time. And then they built Don Julio. So he was like, the food is included up there, and like the atmosphere for him was a lot better. And so he moved and got seats up in Don Julio, which he still has. And then I want to say like 5, maybe 6 years ago, our sales rep called us and was like, hey, I think it was Bobby Grich. I could be wrong. I know it was an ex-Angel player, but I'm pretty sure it was Bobby Grich. He was like, he used to have our seats half of the season. And the other person that has the other half is Bobby Grich doesn't want him anymore and needs like someone to take over his half for the other guy. And so we started out with a half season of those 4 seats. And then the guy that had our other half, he didn't want him anymore. He ended up moving as well. And so now we have the full season, and now there are seats. And like we got so lucky because in order to be front row in the Diamond Club, like it just doesn't really happen. Like you have to be on a wait list and you have to slowly work your way up. And we had given up our Diamond Club seats so long ago. So we got really lucky.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Truly a journey to get to the seat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's why I'm like, I'm not giving up those things. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, as you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, one last thing I wanted to ask you about, and then I want you to talk about taste recovery. So Rocket City with Swilly. So you guys got the opportunity to go last season. Mm-hmm. If memory serves correctly, you threw out the first pitch, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Definitely a bucket list thing for me. I would imagine from the way it sounds, that was probably on your bucket list too.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Tell me about everything. Tell me about the journey, the planning, and the experience.
Yeah. So Swilly obviously has a large following. She also was friends with one of the social media, or I think he's no longer the social media person for the Trash Pandas, but the Trash Pandas ended up teaming up with Breeze Airways because Breeze Airways had a direct flight from LAX and to Huntsville, Alabama, which is where the Trash Pandas are. And it's a really small town. And it was a nonstop flight. And so they were trying to promote the fact that they now have a nonstop flight for Angel fans to come visit the Trash Pandas. And, you know, pretty much because Swilly has a large following, they reached out to her and they were like, hey, if you are interested, we would love for you to come and document your trip. And, you know, and so that's what we did. You know, we got to go out there and it was incredible. Like, I think it was also, I think there was like a giveaway or something. And I don't know exactly what happened. It was all behind the scenes stuff that I wasn't pertinent to, but I think there was a giveaway and she submitted to it. And then when they found it was her, they were like, I don't know. So she ends up, you know, inviting me because they say you have an extra, you can have a person come with you. And I was like, duh, of course, I would literally rather be nowhere else. And we got to film the entire experience, and they literally are the nicest humans on planet Earth. Like, and that was kind of what I was saying. Like, I never in a million years would have ever gone to Alabama. Like, I don't have a reason to be in Alabama. But being able to go out there and meet all of the people, and they treated us like celebrities. Like, it was crazy. And
who, little old me?
Yeah, I was like, what are we talking about? Kate and Dana, and then I forget the other guy's name. Oh, I feel like an asshole, but
Christian Moore?
No. It was another pitcher. They were at the team store offsite of the actual stadium, and they were doing a signing for fans. And so we got to go, and like the whole team store was like, oh my God, Breezy and Swilly from Twitter are here. And Kate and Dana was like, who? What's going on? Like, we're the people signing, you know? But we ended up like getting to hang out with him and talk for a while, which was incredible because obviously he's eventually going to be, you know, an ace. It's obvious. And then we were notified that we got to throw out the first pitch, which we didn't realize it, but at like AA, they allow like a lot of people to throw out the first pitch. So we were like, oh my God, this is so cool, which was still incredible. But we get there and there was like 20 people in line to throw out the first pitch. We're like, oh, okay. So it's not just us, but that's totally fine. And they had asked us like, who would we want to throw out the first pitch to? And we were like, oh, for sure, Kate and Dana or Christian Moore. Like, that would be amazing. And they were like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So when we were at the team store, we asked Caden if he would do it. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. So super nice guy. And so we got there and we did. And I had like broken my nail too. And I was panicking about it, that I was going to make myself look like an idiot. But it somehow landed in his glove, which was great. And I would literally go back to a AA game any day of the week. It was so much fun. I really, Swilly and I were planning on going to Salt Lake to go see the Salt Lake Bees, but now she's in New York. So that may take a little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have a really, really cool friendship from what we've seen, and I'm sure it's no different behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's off to the Big Apple to do big things. Yeah, she's
big things.
She's killing it over there from what we've seen. So
no, she literally, it couldn't have been anyone else. It truly could not have been anyone else. She knows her shit. Like everything that you see, like she knows even more than that in real life. You know, like she's just incredible.
Yeah, and I don't ever expect her to ever say anything because she's earned everything she's got. But I'm all, hey, Swilly, don't forget, we booked your first interview. Yeah, so the very first time we had Scott Spezio on the show,
yeah,
Swilly had come on the podcast just as a fan, kind of like we're doing with you, just to talk Angels baseball. And I was like, hey, Scott Spezio is going to come on the show. Todd can't come on. Do you want to come help me? And she was like, oh my God, of course.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Don't forget the little people, Swilly.
And she would never.
We're still here. We still love you.
She would never.
You're
literally
still one of us.
Yes. And she knows she is.
Yeah. Hey,
for her, it's like she's literally still like, pinch me. What am I even doing here?
Yeah, you know what? And that's a good thing to always have that perspective, right? Because
Yeah.
life's all about perspective. Yeah,
Absolutely.
she's done the impossible. Because my whole thing with John Boy was like a couple years ago, I'm like, hey, they never talk about the Angels. They don't exist to me anymore. So now she's done the impossible, and I think like the last like what 2 or 3 weeks they've
Has
posted about the
all
Angels like 10
Angels.
times.
I
So I'm
know.
like, okay,
I know.
you're doing it, Swilly.
And honestly, I think that kind of lights a weird fire under the Angels' ass. Like now they know they're having a lot of media outlets looking at them, which before they were just under the radar. Nobody gave a fuck. So they, excuse me, that they could, that they could just, be bad and no one cares. And now there's people that are talking about them all the time. So it's like, come on, give us something,
And you guys are professionals. That's what it should be. People do get paid to talk about you. So
Exactly.
Like I said, thank you so much for your time. But I also wanted you to talk a little bit about what you do when you're not at baseball games. Now, you do a lot of important work for people on the journey to sobriety. So please tell us about that.
Seriously, thank you so much for even like allowing me to talk about it. It's a really big deal.
It is, absolutely.
Like I said, I have 9.5 years sober. And so thank you. I started a platform. It's a website and an app that helps people find detox, residential, intensive outpatient, partial hospitalization, and sober living facilities throughout the United States. And it's so incredibly hard to find a place that, one, will take your insurance, two, has certain things that you need. And so to be able to jump onto a platform like ours and be able to filter by gender, by, whether you're in a couple or not, whether you have, you're in the LGBTQ community, whatever it may be, like you need to be able to find a place that is going to be the safest place for you to eventually get the help that you need. And so I started that 5 years ago, and it's been absolutely incredible. And then I also host sober retreats, and that really is like where the miracle happens in person, and getting to see people kind of like the light turn back on in their eyes. And kind of like for me, like when I went to a baseball game, like it's kind of the same feeling of just being a part of something so much bigger than yourself and being a part of a community. And it's not everybody likes baseball, so I'm trying to, do other things and provide that same sense of belonging. And I also started a podcast as well about sobriety and people's first year and all of the trials and tribulations that you may be going through. And just to kind of show people that they're not unique, they're not alone. And, other people have been through similar situations and can stay sober no matter what. There is no good enough reason as to why you need to relapse. And I've had a lot of loss in my life. My stepbrother died from an overdose. Both of my boyfriends are dead from the disease. And I just try to give back to the community as much as I possibly can. So yeah. And also that's like another reason why Angels baseball is so big to me. It's like, I had met Tyler Skaggs the month before he died. And just like feeling like we're not so different after all, like anyone can suffer from mental health and addiction issues. It doesn't matter if you're a Major League Baseball player or not. Mike Trout's, brother-in-law died from suicide. It's like these connections to this specific team and this community. It's like, I don't feel that different after all. Like anyone can have this thing. And if I can be a part of this Angels community and like simultaneously help people get sober while I'm at it, like what a freaking gift. And I actually have had so many DMs from men who love Angels baseball, and they're like, hey, so I think I might be an alcoholic. Like, what do I do? And I'm like, that's so cool. So like the fact that I get to combine both things, especially because of this team, like who has been so open about that type of stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. My girlfriend is, she's a therapist, but she's also a crisis interventionist. And, I've just heard what you can tell me about work.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's only so much you can tell me, but, just hearing, she works with troubled youth. So just hearing, just various, stories it's interesting for me, to hear how some of the obstacles that some people have to go through, whether it's just like difficult upbringings or, some unfortunate passings that they had. And because of that, they have to cross a lot more bridges than other people do. So it's unfortunate to hear a lot of that, but it's B, also very good to hear that there's so many ways to get help, for whatever that may be. Whether it's, addictions, depression, various mental health things you might be going through.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice to hear that we now live in an age where that stigma's kind of gone.
Yeah.
There's just previous. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And, the way the world is, there's always going to be some form of judgment towards it. But I'm glad that now I can truly say that compared to like our parents' generation, I definitely think that this current generation, I'm 30,
Yeah.
a lot of people my age and younger acknowledge that, hey, it's okay. Hey, men are allowed to cry, even things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that now we're in an era and an age where it's okay to ask for help. B, it's encouraged, and people are looking for communities to be a part of.
Yeah.
And you guys are doing very important work. We always try to do things for the community. So I'm hoping that there's definitely a day and a path where we can cross paths and do some things. I know a lot of the times we just do like Angels Twitter softball tournaments. So perhaps that's an environment where we can have, some fun with your organization and things like that.
Absolutely. That would be so cool. I would love that.
Anything else that you want to add about the great work you guys are doing, or
that absolutely covers it. I'm just grateful that that you gave me the opportunity to even talk about it. And I think also that's why I like related so much to the Boston Red Sox documentary and like became a fan, because they didn't shy away from the fact that these baseball players go through an immense amount of stress and pressure, and that they do struggle from mental health issues. And I know that Kenley Jansen even just talked about, after pitching the World Series, I forgot exactly what happened, but he started seeing a therapist afterwards. It's like the more that these players start opening up and talking about it, the more, accepted it's going to be for those manly men who can't talk about their feelings. It's like, if your favorite baseball player can do it, like, I think you're okay. I think you can talk about it. So it's super cool. It's all kind of becoming one place where everyone is like able to feel their feelings and show emotion and not feeling like they're, alone in it. So it's cool.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing all that with us. Last thing, where can people find you if they are interested in following you, if they don't already?
Yeah. On X, I am Breezy. I think it's _Nowlan. Maybe it's just Nowlan. I honestly don't even know. I don't ever do this. And then I also have, the Breezy _Nowlan is my Instagram. That's what it is.
Yeah. Twitter is at Breezy Nowlan.
Yes. Sorry. I think Sean just got a double. Yes, he sure did. And then I also have a Camp Soberfest Instagram. It's just at Camp Soberfest, and then Taste Recovery is at Taste Recovery. Both of the organizations have their own websites under their names. And I always, check my DMs and answer as much as I possibly can to be a resource for any and all things. So
Well, there you go. On behalf of all of us here at Halos of the Infield, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you follow Breezy and make sure you give those organizations a follow at Soberfest and at Taste Recovery. And on behalf of all of us here at Halos of the Infield, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Lone Star